The next goddess that we're going to talk about is Haumea. Now, Haumea, very interesting goddess. Also, apparently a very, very ancient one, except that there are never any stories with Haumea and Huna in the same story at all. And so Huna may be older. There's lots of different stories of Haumea. The name Haumea can mean a couple things. There's no word Haumea in Hawaiian, except for her name. But it's composed of two other words. The word hau, in this case, means ruler. The word mea can mean a thing, or it can mean red, which is, like the color of earth. Okay? But she's the ruler of things. She's known as the Haumea of 4,000 things. Okay? So she's a goddess of abundance of all kinds. And so this is how she's known for. She's associated with the breadfruit tree. And the breadfruit tree was a major source of food in ancient Polynesia, still is in many places. They had breadfruits and still do here in Hawaii. Has anybody ever tasted breadfruit? Okay. Oh, good. Yeah. Now, fried with butter, it's fantastic. And also when it's ripe, it's like a custard and grows in a green ball that looks like it has pebbles all over it. Okay? But it's all green. And, when it's done properly, it's delicious stuff. Okay? They actually still do in Samoa, I think, but here in Hawaii sometimes they also would make poi. And the best kind of poi, we think of poi made with taro, and people make fun of it as far as a food because it tastes funny. But poi made with breadfruit, absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious. And so that's what's one of the things. Haumea was also associated with childbirth, which may be why she was brought into part of the Pele family as the mother of Pele. But she has had her own temples and had a lot of her own things. She's always associated with women's things also, but primarily as this birth giver and the one who was called upon to help with the birthing of children. The story we're going to tell now about Haumea, the color that we associate with her is red, of course, and we associate Haumea with stone, the element of stone. But this story comes from Beckworth through they call them in anthropology an informant, okay, which means the people they get their information from. And this was from Poi Poi, with some slight variation here. Okay. Now, so the ruler, Haumea is the ruler of everything. I need a Haumea for this story. Someone to play the role of Haumea. And you get to wear a red leg. Okay.
I was just looking around. Somebody wants to do it.
Okay. All right. Okay, good. And let's see, with Haumea we also need Wakea, her husband. Now, it doesn't have to be a man, but because we can have anybody play it. Okay, good. We'll need you come on up. Might as well start getting out. Okay. Okay. Okay, we need him. We need 2 warriors. Okay, 2 warriors. A warrior and another warrior. And, not quite yet. And we're going to need 2 people to be a tree. A tree. Okay? These first 2? Okay, good. Not quite yet, but come on. So we'll get you up here in a moment. Okay? All right, so this is This is all we have to do, okay? Good. Now, let's start. This story begins when Haumea is living with her husband, Haumea and Wakea. Now, got to tell you about Wakea. Wakea means expansive. And in some instances it can mean chaos, and it means just almost like unlimited expanse. And in some stories, Wakea is a creator with Papa, but Haumea is very similar to Papa as far as being an Earth Mother goes. Okay, so sometimes Haumea and Papa are interchangeable as far as the Earth Mother. So Wakea is her natural husband. You could think of it as Earth Mother and Sky Father, but think of Sky as being really big. Okay, so anyway, they take human form because with the really powerful spirits, regardless of what part of nature that they also were, sometimes like to enjoy life as a human being just for the novelty. Okay, so at this point they have both taken human form, and Wakea lives inland. They go to a place, a high lookout called Kilohana. Kilohana is a word that means lookout. Okay, so they go to a place, it's called Kilohana, and has a beautiful view. They weren't paying attention because it really is a part of a land claimed by a chief called Kumuhunua, which means earth foundation. So anyway, but that's where they're living. And they're eating, they eat there. They eat bananas, and they eat yams, and they eat sweet potatoes, and they eat freshwater shrimp. And the next day they eat bananas, and yams, and sweet potatoes, and freshwater shrimp. And the next day they eat bananas, and yams, and sweet potatoes, and freshwater shrimp. And this goes on and on and on. And finally, Haumea, that's it. No, it's not that she's so big. She was big anyway. But she's really getting tired of this diet. And she longs for some seafood. Okay? So she comes down to the sea. She leaves Wakea there. She comes down to the sea, and she's gathering crabs and seafood as a change, from what she's been eating all this time. Okay? Meanwhile, two warriors from the chief Kumuhonua come and find Wakea eating bananas and sweet potatoes and yams and freshwater shrimp in the land that's claimed by the chief. So they grab Wakea. Just at the moment they grab him, one on each side. Come on. Just at the moment they grab him, suddenly Haumea gets a premonition that something's wrong. And so she comes up and she sees that they have taken her husband. She can't do anything about it immediately. So she can't do anything about it immediately. None of these people get carried away. Okay? So slowly they start taking, slowly over here, and Haumea is following. Okay? And at one particular point, they come to a tree. Back up a little bit. Okay? So may I have my tree? Okay? And each one of you hold on to one side. One of you over here, and one there. Okay, good. And this is it there. Good, beautiful. Okay? Now, when they come to this tree, Haumea knows immediately what tree it is. Because the name of the tree is Makale. Now, Makale is also a very interesting name. It's used, there's a lot behind this part of the story that we're not going to get into, but Makale, in one sense, means a stick that was used as a lure for fish. And it also refers to a special type of fish trap. Now, in lots of places in Polynesia, although Wakea is a breadfruit tree, because it provides food, it was associated with food. And there's lots of stories of a tree that gives everlasting food, even fish. And this is why the name of the tree is also the name of a fish trap, and Polynesians love wordplay, and so then in the legends comes this image of a tree that provides fish. Okay? And it does in a way because you make the fish trap from the ulu wood, the breadfruit wood, and make fish lures from it, and so the tree provides fish. Okay? That's sort of the kind of thinking. Anyway, in this story, they're coming along, and Haumea gets them to stop. Please, 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 let me get some food from my husband from this tree. And please, may I have my husband help me, and we'll get the food. And so they're not quite sure, but Haumea is very persuasive. I mean, she's a ruler, for crying out loud. Okay, so she gets her husband loose for a moment, and they turn to the tree, and Haumea says something secretly to the tree, and the tree opens up like a door, and Haumea and Wakea go inside the tree, and the tree closes back up, and they disappear. Now, the warriors are stunned, to say the least. Okay? Only one warrior gets angry, and the other warrior is amazed. The angry warrior tries to cut down the tree. However, the tree reaches over, knocks him on the head, and kills him. And that happens to anybody that tries to cut down this tree. The other warrior, who was amazed, goes over and gives the tree water, and gives the tree, water, goes ahead and waters it, and takes care of it. And for everybody who takes care of it, the tree gives that person an abundance of food. This is from Foodland, and it's got pictures of food on it. In case if you didn't get it, okay. And so whoever takes care of the tree in Wakea gets this great abundance of food, okay? And that's what happened forever after. Mahalo. Yeah. All right. Very good.